All right, bye week. Second practice of the bye week. It's been good to be able to take some time after Friday night's game, and got some guys, got some little bit of rest for some of the guys early in the week, and then a little bit of different practice Tuesday and Wednesday. A lot of focus on obviously Cincinnati and some beginning install with them. And also, a chance to look at some different things with some younger players and see if we got some guys that are ready to play a little bit more and, things like that. And so it's been a really positive week so far. We'll practice again tomorrow and have a little scrimmage with our young guys, our scout guys, at the end of practice. So I expect that to be really lively. That's usually something that the older guys really enjoy. Getting to cheer the young guys on and all that stuff. So that'll be good. Looking at the film from last Friday night, obviously a great college football game and a very emotional win on the road. Tough place to win, tough place to play. So post game, you were euphoric, and you go back and you look at the film, and just I really am very pleased with how hard our kids played. I'm pleased with the composure that we demonstrated, the way we competed. Certainly, we made some mistakes, but I think some of that's BYU. I mean, that's a really good football team. That offensive front may have been the best offensive front we've seen so far this year. And they got some guys on both sides of the ball that are really, really talented college football players. There's probably a lot of those guys you're going to see playing on Sundays. So to go out and to be able to find a way to win a game like that on the road in that environment. I mean, we've played a lot of loud environments in my career. And that one's up there. I mean, I don't know if it's the loudest, but it's up there. And that was a factor in the ball game. And thankfully we'd done an adequate enough job to preparing for it. So we didn't have major issues. But just reflecting back, I think it's just a big win for our program. And so I'm kind of glad you got the bye week right now, because you can appropriately celebrate that thing on Sunday and also be able to turn the page firmly for what is another big ball game next Friday night. And certainly we'll all be watching Navy and Cincinnati this weekend along with some other matchups, but the focus right now for our roster is on Cincinnati, and so it'll be good to watch them this weekend. And then Sunday, we talked with our team just about, Sunday kind of starts the fourth quarter of our season. And so the kids will be very, very motivated. I know that we'll have a solid week of preparation next week, and we have a great challenge. I mean, Cincinnati is very, very good again this year, very talented. That's playing at Cincinnati and Nippert Stadium is going to be a huge challenge also. They have a great support there, great environment. Another Friday night game, so it's probably, I expect it to be very electric in their stadium. So just pleased where we are right now and excited about what we got the balance of the way with the season. So, questions?
You guys, I'm sure, looked at the schedule when it first came out, saw the late bye, and knew it maybe be a challenge to get here. But now that you are here, is it, I don't know, maybe a blessing in disguise that you have some extra time to prepare for the end of the home stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have chosen it, but I mean, it falls where it does. I mean, I do think that coming off of the last several ball games, and particularly that last one, and it being such a physical ball game, and then following up with what I anticipate is going to be another very physical ball game, I do think it's a good time to have it. Ideally, you'd probably want it a little more centered, but it's for where we are right now, where we're sitting, I think it's good.
What's the balance of preparing for this next stretch of 3 games and also doing some self-scouting and some inward looking?
Well, we spent a lot of time doing that this week also, and I think it's the perfect time for that. I think it's the perfect time to evaluate, what you've been doing. Make sure that if there are tendencies that the opponent can pick up on, that we do a good job of adjusting some things and changing some things during this week. So I think that's been another big piece of this week for our coaching staff.
9 games then, has anything really surprised you about this team? team as far as development, and then are there things that you still want to shore up going into the final 3 games?
Well, I think I'm pleased. I mean, ideally, you'd like to be 9-0, and you could sit here and probably argue that, but I'm pleased with our development and our improvement. I'm pleased with how our kicking game has continued to improve. I think you can check me if I'm wrong, but going into this weekend, I think we have the #1 kickoff coverage team in the country. So that's shown drastic improvement over last year. We said we wanted to make that something we improved on in the off season. So I think that our offensive execution, particularly the way we've done a great job taking care of the football. I mean, it is just blaring in your face. When we do a great job with winning the turnover battle, those are the games we've won. And conversely, when we've lost it, those are the games we've struggled to win. So I think I'm pleased with how I think Holton's playing the best ball of his career right now. I think that so many of the guys surrounding him are playing the best ball of their careers, and that's offensive line, receivers, running backs, tight ends. I mean, you have a lot of guys that are just gelling together. And so I think just when I say I'm pleased, I'm pleased with how that group has really come along together. And you can say the same thing defensively. I'm pleased with how we've continued to play really, really well, for the balance of the season defensively. And certainly we've had our moments when we didn't play as well, but I think that for the most part, we've been, week in, week out, pretty highly competitive on both sides of the ball, and really improved in the special teams phase to where we're highly competitive in all 3 phases.
Coach, what does it mean to you to be bowl eligible for the second year in a row?
I think it means a lot to all of us. I try. I mean, listen. I do mention how far the team, the kids, the program has come, because I mean it was tough to find things to get excited about that first year. But from the time I took the job, that's basically all I heard around town. Coach, you got to get us back in bowl games. You got to get us back in bowl games. And I think that a lot of our players were pretty vocal about it. That's Holton was very vocal about it. He came here to get ECU back to where it was when he was growing up. And that's, competing at a high level, competing for championships, going to the postseason, bowl games, things like that. And so last year was significant, obviously, but this year is, kind of validates last year, because you're bowl eligible, and you're bowl eligible before the month of November. And so back-to-back seasons, you guys, know the history better than I do, but it's probably back to 13, 14 is the last time that, back-to-back seasons of being bowl eligible. So I'm proud of the players, I'm proud of the coaches, I'm proud of the support staff, the administration, because, this it certainly wasn't me. I mean, I know it's like I told Holton, a lot. It's just, when you're the head coach and you're the quarterback and you lose, you get more blame than you probably deserve. But when you win, you probably get more credit than you deserve. But the investment that the administration, the investment that East Carolina University made, when I took the job, and certainly I know that you sit here and you say, well, we need this and we need that, but they are working very, very hard to invest in East Carolina football, and so are the players. The players, I mean, their commitment level, I cannot stress to you how important it has been and how huge of a piece it's been. The commitment level of the players in our program right now versus the commitment level that was here in 2019 is just like night and day. The players, you're not having to beat them to get them into the weight room. You're not having to beat them to get them into the training room. You're not having to beat them to get them to watch film. They're doing these things because they're self-motivated, and they're motivated by their peers, and you have strong leadership. And the evidence is every Saturday or Friday or Thursday or whenever we play on the field. In that first year, I mean, we physically were outmatched, especially up front. Now, we feel very good each week that that team we played last Friday night, I mean, that's a big, strong, athletic front on both sides of the ball, and our kids competed very, very well. And so the commitment level in this program is just something that's I'm very pleased with. And just our coaches, they work very, very hard. They work long hours. They're dedicated, but the culture that they have within our staff. If you walk around our offices, you're going to see people with a smile on their face. You're going to see people that are trying to help each other out. I think that carries over into the locker room with how the relationships with the kids. And I just say that there's a lot of people that invested a lot. And I appreciate John Gilbert. I appreciate Chancellor Rogers. And I appreciate that everything they've done to support us. But, it's very, very rewarding to see the program, back where we all wanted it to be.
You mentioned the challenge at Cincinnati, but you guys have put yourself in a position to go up there and win. Y'all can potentially get right back in the mix with the conference championship. How much do you address that with the team, or is that something they know regardless?
They know it. I don't have to address it. They know. So it's a big ball game for us. I don't want to make it any bigger than I need to make it. But we always, we talk about 1-0, and this week, each week, this week is the biggest game of the year. So, that mindset's been instilled in them, but it's a big ball game for us. It's a big ball game for Cincinnati. So they've got to focus on Navy right now. I'm sure as soon as they finish that game, they'll be fully focused on us, but it's going to be a good matchup, and we got a huge challenge.
Recruiting, will you guys as a staff hit the road this weekend?
Yeah, we had a couple racing from practice today, trying not to miss flights. So the bulk of our staff will leave tonight. We'll have a few tomorrow to function with practice, and then all of us will be involved in recruiting on Friday and Saturday. So we're going to have guys all over the country. To be honest with you, we'll try to see all of our commits. We're very, very close on some other guys that I think between now and Christmas we'll shore up those guys. So. And then there's you always check in on guys that maybe are getting a late start on, or they might have decommitted from somewhere else or something like that. So that'll be a big emphasis for the balance of the week.
Both Keaton and Holton were talking about the offensive line has been playing really well. So is that just sort of a product of them really meshing and gelling together at this point in the year when they kind of understand how to play together as a unit? Or what's kind of been the secret, I guess?
Well, I think there's lots. I think there's. We look like an American Athletic Conference offensive line. And you guys have been watching for years. That's a start, okay? Second is you've got a bunch of guys that have played a lot of snaps. You can never experience. Why is Holton Ahlers playing so well? He's got a lot of experience. I think you can say the same thing for the offensive line. And I think the third thing is exactly what you're talking about. They've gelled together. They have their ability to communicate, because a lot of the communications post snap. You start seeing some of these defenses that twist and bring people from all over the place, and it ain't easy to trade off a twist and pick up a blitzer. It takes a lot of work and a lot of communication, a lot of just guys that are in sync playing together. So I think it's a lot of factors right there. I would say another factor is just who those kids are. Their dedication, and I think that's another thing that's very strong in the program right now.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Who's that ice cream?